Hey guys, today me, Caveman, try to understand index funds, and I already feel my brain melt. I'm not joking. Right now I am standing inside a strange modern cave called Bank, and giant glowing screens shout numbers at me like angry spirit gods. One screen says 0.47%, the next screen says 9 to 3.12%, and I swear one screen hissed at me like a jealous rival caveman. Some tiny man in a suit yells, "The S&P is red today," and I look around for an angry red beast named S&P. Nothing. Only coffee smell and people pretending they understand what's happening. I clutch my bag of mammoth shells, modern people call it savings. I want to grow it big. I want to not work until my spine curves like an old buffalo. But every time I ask the banker how money grows, he says confusing words like diversification, market cap weighted, and broad exposure. I nod my head, but inside I scream like a caveman who sat on a sharp rock. If you don't learn this, you'll end up cold, broke, and alone in a mud pit. So before you sit comfy on mammoth skin, smash the like button and hit the magic scribe stick, but only if what I say makes you smile or think. Tell Caveman in the comments, where is your cave? What moon time? Now grab your stone seat, hold on to your beard, and let's walk into the firelight of today's hunt. I first discovered index funds when Cousin Tog showed me his shiny rectangle phone and said, "Caveman, look, you can own hundreds of companies at the same time." I laughed because that sounded like Tog was drunk on fermented berry juice again. But then he scrolled up, down, showing many tiny squares with names of companies. The apple with the bite missing, the strange bird logo, companies that make shoes, companies that somehow make clouds. I asked him, "Thog, you own all these?" He grinned. No, index fund owns them. I just hold a piece of the whole basket." "A basket? Like berries? Like firewood?" My brain was confused but intrigued, and that is where today's journey begins. Caveman learned about index funds the same way cavemen learn everything in the modern world, through pain, confusion, and one moment where I thought the spirits were punishing me for being financially dumb. It started when I decided to pick one single company to invest my mammoth shells in. Everyone around me was bragging, "Buy this stock, no, buy this, no, follow this guru. He screams on YouTube, so he must be wise." So I tried. I picked a shiny company that made electric wagons. I looked at the wagon. It was fast, strong, silent like a stalking panther. I felt confident. I put all my mammoth shells into it. Next moon, the stock fell so hard it hit the ground like a mammoth slipping on ice. I panicked. I stomped around my cave. I yelled at the sky, "Why?" No answer, except my neighbor shouting, "Stop screaming at the moon, caveman." That was when the elder banker sat next to me. He was old, wrinkled, and smelled like calculator dust. He said, "Caveman, you tried to hunt a big animal with a single spear, but sometimes the animal moves, sometimes the spear breaks, sometimes your aim is terrible. Diversify, use many small spears." I was confused. "How do I hold many spears at once?" He chuckled and showed me the index fund scroll. He drew a big basket in the sand. Inside the basket, he drew little icons: the fruit company, the search machine company, the clothing company, the skyplane company, even the weird company that makes dog food shaped like hippos. He said, "Index fund is a big basket holding hundreds of businesses. You buy one share, you own a tiny piece of all of them at the same time." My eyes widened. All companies, even the ones that do good, the ones that do bad, the ones that confuse cavemen? Yes. And the basket changes by itself when companies get big, small, or explode? And I don't have to pick winners? Yes. I sat stunned. I whispered, "Magic." He patted my shoulder. "Not magic, math." But Caveman didn't believe him. It felt too simple, too peaceful, too opposite of everything in a stressful world. He explained one more thing. Index fund follows something called an index, like the S&P 500. That is a list of the biggest, strongest companies in the tribe of America. The fund simply copies the list. When the list changes, the fund changes. You just hang on. I thought back to the single company disaster that left me crying into a bowl of cold soup. I realized hunting one animal is dangerous, but hunting a herd, that is safer, that is smarter, that is more caveman-proof. This was the moment I began to understand the power of the big basket. After the elder banker explained index funds to my caveman brain, I wandered through the modern tribe village and noticed something strange. Everyone was obsessed with this big basket idea. I saw a skinny man with a smoothie say, "Bro, I only invest in VOO." I saw a tired mother pushing a stroller whisper, "Thank goodness for my index fund or I would lose my mind." I saw an old warrior at the gym grunting, "S&P 500 carries me harder than my protein shake." Caveman was confused. Why was the whole tribe worshipping the same basket? This was suspicious. When a tribe all loves the same thing, usually it is either sacred or dangerous, or both. So I approached a group of humans standing around a fire pit at a fancy rooftop gathering. They held strange tiny sticks filled with bubbles. One of them said, "Index funds are the best investment for normal people." Another added, "You can't beat the market, just join it." A third shouted, "Diversification, passive investing, low fees forever." They chanted this like a war cry. Caveman tried to understand by watching them closely. They treated index funds like a giant protective fire that kept wolves away. They spoke of long-term returns like they spoke of moon cycles and harvest seasons. I tried joining the conversation. "Caveman also buy big basket, make Caveman strong investor?" All the humans nodded enthusiastically. "Yes, Caveman doesn't need to pick magic stocks, Caveman simply owns everything." I nodded, but inside my brain still swirled like an angry river. Why is owning everything so good? Then the fitness warrior explained, "When you invest in an index fund, you own a slice of all the major companies. So if one company fails, others survive. If one shrinks, others grow. It's like a tribe hunt. When one hunter gets tired, the rest carry the load." Caveman understood now. A tribe is stronger than a lone warrior. A basket of businesses is stronger than a single company. The rooftop tribe continued talking excitedly. "Index funds go up with the economy. Companies fight each other. You still win. You get the average return, which is better than most humans picking stocks." Caveman raised his hand. "Wait, average? Why people excited about average?" The skinny smoothie man grinned. "Because the average of hundreds of strong companies is stronger than 90% of humans guessing which company wins." Caveman thought. This made sense in a painful way. When Caveman throws many spears at many targets, at least one spear hits something. And if the whole tribe helps throw spears together, success is almost guaranteed. Then someone shouted, "Index funds let Caveman relax. No stress, no screaming at moon." This one hit Caveman's heart deeply. I remembered screaming at the moon many times trying to pick winning stock. Now I saw why people were obsessed. Index funds give a simple path, an easy path, a peaceful path, even for Caveman brain. Just when Caveman thought he finally understood big basket magic, I did something so stupid, even the ancestor spirits probably face-palmed from the sky. I bought my first index fund. I felt proud. I walked around the village saying, "Caveman investor now, Caveman unstoppable." I felt like a giant financial warrior. Then, 2 moons later, the market went down. Not a small down, down like a mammoth falling into a deep mud hole, down like Cousin Tog when he drank too much fermented berry juice and tripped over the fire pit. Caveman saw red numbers everywhere. The phone screamed at me, the news screamed at me, internet humans screamed at each other, everyone looked panicked. Then the banker on the bright screen said, "Market correction incoming." Correction? Why did the market need correction? Did it do something wrong? Did it insult someone's mother? Caveman didn't understand, but Caveman felt fear. I called Tog. "Tog, basket dropping, fast!" Tog shrugged through the video screen. "It normal, market go up, market go down, Caveman calm." But Caveman was not calm. Caveman panicked. Caveman smashed the sell button. I sold the entire index fund at a low price. The tribe called this panic selling. Caveman called this the biggest mistake since discovering fire inside the tent. 2 moons later, the market went back up, way up, higher than before. I looked at the chart like a heartbroken wolf watching a rival steal his mate. The chart climbed the mountain. Caveman's money, somewhere at the bottom of the valley, crying. I stomped around the cave, angry and ashamed. Why did Caveman sell? Why was Caveman so afraid? Why did Caveman not listen to wise Thog? Then the elder banker called me into his office. He showed me a chart from long, long ago, back before cavemen even wore proper animal skins. The chart went up and down many times, but overall it went up like an eagle riding the wind. He said, "Caveman, your mistake not index fund, your mistake is you." I felt this in my soul. He explained, when market dip, that not sign to run, that sign to stay, even add more. Hunters who run from noise lose. Hunters who stay become legends. Caveman sat quietly. I remembered the time I ran from a small squirrel because I thought it was a baby bear. The tribe laughed for an entire season. This felt the same. From that day forward, Caveman made a vow: no more panic selling, no more guessing, no more screaming at Moon. Well, maybe a small scream, but a quiet one. After Caveman cried over the panic-selling disaster, the elder banker tried to teach Caveman the greatest magic of the modern world: compounding. He looked at me with wise old man eyes and said, "Caveman, stop trying to make money grow fast. Let time do the heavy lifting." Caveman frowned. Time? Time no lift. Time just float around and make bones old. He chuckled and drew a picture in the sand. He drew a tiny seed. Next to it, he drew a young plant. Next to that, he drew a giant tree with branches wide like mammoth horns. "That's how money grows," he said. Slow, quiet, steady. Caveman was unimpressed. Trees take long time. Caveman wants strong money now. He tapped a chart with a stick. If you invest a small amount every moon and you leave it alone and you stay calm through storms, the basket grows like a giant forest. I scratched my beard. The basket grows by itself without Caveman shouting at it? Yes, in fact, shouting makes it worse. This concept blew Caveman's mind. Money grows when Caveman does nothing? It was the opposite of everything Caveman knew. Caveman grows muscles by lifting heavy rocks. Caveman hunts by chasing beasts long distances. Caveman builds fire by rubbing sticks until hands hurt. But plants, trees, they grow while Caveman sleeps. Money apparently uses the same trick. He taught me a word: compound interest. Fancy words, but simple idea. Money grows on top of money, and then that growth grows on top of itself until everything explodes into a giant wealth forest. He showed an example on the glowing screen. Look, Caveman, if you put shells into an index fund every moon for many years, the returns stack. 10 years from now, you look at Basket and say, wow, Caveman did almost nothing and Basket become huge. Caveman stared at the numbers. I watched tiny 100 turn into 300, then 1,000, then 3,000, then more. Is this magic? Caveman whispered. No, this is patience. Caveman thought of dried meat buried underground for winter. When you dig it up after many moons, the meat is stronger, richer, more flavorful. You just leave it there. Time does the cooking. Same with an index fund. You bury your money deep into the giant company forest. You leave it alone, and time cooks it until delicious wealth appears. The elder banker said one last thing. If Caveman understands this, Caveman beats most humans. Caveman left the office stunned, walking through the village whispering, "Time, time's strongest warrior." Caveman now understood that time does the heavy lifting. But Caveman still had one big problem. Caveman forgets. I forget everything. Forget to pay bills, forget to drink water, forget where I put my club, forget which tribe celebration I am supposed to attend. This causes big drama. So of course, Caveman also forgot to invest. I told myself, every moon Caveman put shells into basket. Next moon, Caveman forgot. Moon after that, forgot again. Third moon, Caveman remembered but spent the shells on a giant feast and new shoes he absolutely did not need. Then the elder banker caught me wandering around town and asked, Caveman, why you not invest last 3 moons? Caveman looked at the ground. Brain smooth, memory small. He sighed and introduced new magic, automation, dollar cost averaging, DCA. He said, Caveman, you do not trust memory, you trust system. You tell bank to take certain number of shells every moon and put into the same index fund, whether market high, low, or sideways. Caveman blinked. You mean money jump into basket by itself? Yes. Even when caveman's sleeping? Yes. Even when cavemen eating giant turkey leg? Yes. Caveman felt tears form. Automation, miracle of modern world. But caveman took this idea too far. I tried to make my own primitive version of automation before I learned how to press the proper buttons. I tied a small pouch of shells to a squirrel. I pointed the squirrel toward the bank. I said, Go, little accountant warrior, deliver shells. The squirrel ran. The squirrel disappeared. The squirrel never came back. The tribe laughed at cavemen for a whole moon cycle. Finally, I gave up and clicked the modern buttons like the elder showed. Every moon, like magic, some shells disappeared from Caveman's bag and reappeared inside the big basket of companies. At first, Caveman was nervous. Caveman liked holding shells close. Caveman liked seeing them, touching them, counting them. But the elder said something wise. If shells always in your hand, they never grow fur, never grow teeth, never grow into something mighty. DCA means caveman buys when market high, caveman buys when market low, caveman buys when market sideways. Caveman buys without thinking, because thinking, especially caveman thinking, causes disaster. After 6 moons of automatic investing, Caveman looked at the account and gasped. Basket grew. Not huge, but steady, like watching a little wolf pup get bigger each moon until strong enough to hunt. Trick number 2 taught Caveman a powerful truth. You do not trust motivation. You trust habit. You trust system. Caveman no longer relies on memory. Caveman relies on automation. Caveman thought he finally mastered index funds. He stayed calm during dips. He invested every moon automatically. He let time do the heavy lifting. Caveman was proud. But then, a rival tribe tricked Caveman. One day, a fancy finance hunter visited Caveman's village. He wore a shiny suit, his hair slick like a wet otter, and he smiled bright enough to blind an eagle. He said, Caveman, you want big basket but bigger? You want fund with special strategy? You want experts picking best companies for you? Caveman puffed his chest. Yes, Caveman deserves best. The fancy hunter leaned close and whispered, For small, tiny fee, just little bite of your shells. Tiny? Caveman shrugged. Okay. The hunter handed me a scroll full of confusing words. Management fees, expense ratios, turnover costs, 12B1 fees. Caveman squinted. Why many numbers? The hunter grinned. Don't worry, experts handle everything. Caveman signed. Caveman walked away proud. 2 moons later, the basket barely grew. Caveman was confused. Caveman poked the basket. Why you so small? You eat enough sunlight? Then the elder banker smelled trouble and looked at Caveman's papers. He sighed so deeply it shook mountains. Caveman, your fund charges big fees, too big, fee eat return like hungry saber-toothed tiger. Caveman's heart dropped to his feet. The elder drew a simple picture in the dirt. He drew 2 baskets, one labeled low-fee index fund, tiny pebble-size fee. The other labeled high-fee fancy fund, giant boulder-size fee crushing the little companies. He said, when fee's big, every year they take chunk of Caveman's growth. Over long time, chunk becomes mountain. Caveman thinks fund weak, but fee actually stealing wealth. Caveman gasped. You mean fancy hunter trick, Caveman? Yes. You mean Caveman feed tiger instead of basket? Yes. You mean tiny fee more powerful than Cavemen realize? Yes. The elder showed numbers on the glowing screen. Fund with 0.03% fee grows strong, tall, powerful. Fund with 1% fee ends up tiny, weak twig. Caveman grew angry. Caveman stomped the ground. Caveman shouted, Why humans invent hidden fees? The elder put a hand on my shoulder. Because humans greedy, Caveman, must be careful. This was when Caveman learned a big lesson. Low fees equals more wealth. High fees is financial doom volcano. Caveman immediately dumped the fancy overpriced fund like a hot rock. He returned to the simple index fund with the tiny baby pebble fee. The basket started growing again. Caveman felt deep peace knowing no tiger was eating his returns. Caveman wisdom, big strength come from many little sticks together. After moons of failure, confusion, rival tribe trickery, panic selling, squirrel mishaps, and elder banker lectures that felt like spiritual therapy, Caveman finally saw big truth glowing like fire in dark cave. Index funds are not about being the smartest hunter, not about predicting the future, not about catching magic company before it explodes in value, not about screaming at the moon hoping a stock goes up. Index funds are about unity, patience, calm, humility. Caveman sat outside the cave one night, poking the fire with a stick, thinking about everything he learned. I realized something deep. When caveman alone, he fragile. One mistake, one wrong hunt, one slip on mud, one angry squirrel, and caveman doomed. But when tribe hunts together, tribe strong. When many little sticks tied together, they form mighty spear that never breaks. Index fund is the same. One company can fail, one CEO can cause scandal, one industry can collapse, one trend can vanish like mammoth in heat wave. But hundreds of companies, hundreds of industries, whole economy, hard to break, hard to crush, hard to stop. Caveman whispered to the fire, big basket not promise riches, big basket promise stability. Caveman learned many lessons. Lesson 1, cavemen no guess. Picking individual companies is like throwing spear at flying mosquito in dark. Chances bad. Lesson 2, cavemen no panic when markets scream. Just because market falls does not mean caveman falls. Dip is normal, dip is life, dip is discount. Lesson 3, cavemen trust time. Time slow but strong, just like glacier carving canyon, just like tiny drip of water forming cave. Lesson 4, cavemen invest automatically. Habit stronger than motivation. Automation stronger than caveman memory. Lesson 5, cavemen keep fees tiny. Pebble size fee, good. Boulder size fee, run like mammoth charging. Cavemen breathed deep. Caveman felt warm knowing he no longer fought market like wild beast. Caveman simply rode on back of giant economy mammoth as it traveled across land through storms, sunshine, chaos, and growth. Cavemen realized the most important wisdom of all. Wealth not come from intensity. Wealth come from consistency. Day after day, moon after moon, year after year, little by little, shell by shell. Caveman finally felt peace inside chest. Peace caveman never felt when hunting single magic stock. Big basket gave caveman something rare, future he can trust. Caveman sat on a rock at the edge of the village, watching the sunset paint the sky orange like roasted pumpkin. I thought about the journey, how caveman went from confused, panicked, moon-screaming mess to calmer, wiser, slower-breathing investor. Not perfect, still makes dumb mistakes, still sometimes stares at glowing phone and whispers, "Please go up," still sometimes feels urged to scream at market gods. But now caveman understands bigger truth. Index funds not about excitement, they about survival, they about progress, they about peace. Cavemen no chase quick riches anymore. Cavemen no run from every dip like scared rabbit. Cavemen no give shells to fancy hunters with pretty hair and hidden fees. Cavemen choose simple path. Cavemen choose path of tribe, path of big basket, path of long-term thinking, even though caveman brain built for short-term berry hunting. When cavemen look at basket now, I do not see numbers. I see future. Future where cavemen not work until spine bent like question mark. Future where cavemen children not worry about empty shell pouch. Future where cavemen spend more time with family, fire, sky, peace, and less time panicking at red charts. Cavemen realize something else. World chaotic. Companies rise and fall. Trends come and go. Humans chase next shiny thing every 2 minutes. But big basket steady. Big basket kind. Big basket reward those who stay, not those who sprint. So cavemen leave you with final thought. Do not chase storm. Build shelter before storm comes. Index funds are shelter. And now, I give final caveman CTA, straight from heart of hairy warrior. If today's journey make you laugh, think, or stop panicking at glowing market torches, then smash like button with strength of mammoth foot. Hit magic scribe stick so YouTube bring Caveman back to your cave again. And tell Caveman in comments what you invest in now, big basket, tiny spear, or something even crazier. Until next moon. Stay calm, stay steady, stay in tribe. Ooga booga.